So going through the 2024 classes, what are the first three?
The health as well, the kinesiology for the home, and kinesiology foundations.
And the fourth one is?
This is one I'm proud of all of them actually, but this is my signature system. So it's what I have put together. It's what the people in YouTube land have been saying, I want to learn that from you for 5 years. So this is me doing it. And whether or not this is the only time I do it, because it's 15 months. So it's every week for 15 months. And that was funny because one of the guys who joined up, he said, so how often are we meeting? I said, every week. And he said, really? And I said, yes, for 15 months. Minus 5 weeks when I'll be having holidays. Oh. So it's huge amount of value.
How many sessions is that?
56 minimum.
50, right? That's a lot of.
But yeah, but this one's $10,000. So this one isn't cheap, and I've got payment plans for everything. But also, people can also choose to do a 16-week, for $4,000.
Okay. I see you've got a scaled down version of that.
Yeah. Yeah, so the first 16 weeks, and then they will be wanting more.
Okay, well that's a great idea. I see you've got a really varied different classes for this year that suit ordinary people, people who want to learn more, basic practitioner and then advanced practitioner.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. And people who don't want to do it, like either kinesiology foundations or my masterclass. My signature system, either of those are fantastic for anyone who wants to get their hands on humans and help us. We need more healers on the planet.
Right.
We are in dire straits at the moment on the planet. We need healers. We need people able to pick up people's brains and boost people's immune systems and help them out.
The thing about anyone in allied health, which is technically those who aren't in the medical industry, all of the other helping fields, whether it's natural therapies, counsellors, who else is on the list? So it fills in the gap in because every type of medical art has a limitation.
Yeah.
And so when medicine has its limitations, all causes problems like toxic effects.
Yeah.
At the other end of the counsellors and the naturopaths here to pick up the pieces.
And, part of what, obviously the last 4 years has taught us some really important rules. And one of them is that you don't know when the rules are going to be changed because people decide that the rules are going to change. So I had no idea whether I would still be a naturopath because our TGA in Australia is really working hard to remove natural therapies. They're working really hard at it, and it's happening all around the world. Canada and New Zealand are just as bad as Australia, if not worse. And it's been very interesting watching it. So it is something that if you have a hands-on skill, then it's something you can still do with people for the rest of your life, and they cannot take that away from you.
Right. Because they're removing what have they removed? They've removed a range of herbs.
Well, certainly, yeah. So, for example, my friend Steph went back to UK about 10 years ago. She's a homeopath. Was not allowed to be a homeopath.
Really?
They have made it almost impossible in the UK to be a homeopath. So that was 10 years ago.
Because they say it's all water.
Yes. So now they're trying to prove that, but what they're doing basically is having scientists look at things under microscopes, which is sort of funny.
There's kind of two things going on there that I know about from my own research, is that they'll claim something's ineffective, but they also say we can't afford to do studies on it.
Yeah, well,
so the studies are chosen by certain people to be reviewed.
The American
and also the cost of studies now has become so high that people don't want to do them because there's all of these rules for studies and it'll end up costing you'll need to give a university grant just to start.
Yeah. So the CDC in America, for example, right now, like within the last few weeks, have decided there will be no more studies on electromagnetic frequencies and the health of children. So they've rolled out 5G at the speed of light. Children are getting sicker and sicker and sicker. And now they've decided no more studies. They don't want to know. And they're talking about 6G by 2025. So that's next year, 6G by next year. So, we need hands-on healing. How do you know if your foggy brain is your thyroid? How do you know if your foggy brain is electromagnetic frequencies? How do you know if your foggy brain is glyphosate and wheat and things like that? So the great thing is that kinesiology can really help you. And my practitioner mastery, once again, the reason for the cost is it's 15 months of coaching with me. So every week it's 90 to 120 minutes.
You're dealing with a lot of complex topics.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. Yeah, so there'll be a lot of training in systems and conditions and, real big discussions about that. I've got great people in the group at the moment. It's designed for small group. I can't do this one big. This one cannot be big because it simply would be too much energy output. But I do have space for a couple more people to join.
Okay, good news.
Yeah.
And so that's your courses for the year?
Yeah. So I'm very excited and I'm very busy and I'm very frantic and I'm very stressed, but I'm absolutely loving it.
Well, it's so nice to pass the knowledge down.
Oh man,
more than just treating people, to share with people how it's done really well, because there's a lot of people do things and some people just get up with a higher knowledge and skill.
Yeah.
And it's really nice to pass it down.
Yes. And then if anyone's keen, and I'll just mention this now, if anyone's keen to jump into the mastery, but I've got a couple of prerequisites for the practitioner mastery. One of them is you need to be able to stack like me. So that is a whole thing.
So
that's a whole thing.
Is the first class about stacking?
No, because these guys have all done one of them's done kinesiology foundations once and two of them have done it twice.
Okay.
So they've got my brain already in there.
Okay.
They're ready to fly. We had a huge...
Stacking is when you hold kinesiology memory.
Yes, so yes, and there's several ways of doing it. And the reason I do it the way I do, there's something called circuit retaining mode. Circuit retaining mode is like a video. So the second you start talking to someone about stress, you can switch on the circuit retaining mode. There's a way of doing that. And then basically so just say you say, so have there been issues in your relationship lately? Now, regardless of what they say, if you pop this on, you're automatically getting everything going on in their conscious brain, their subconscious brain, and their unconscious brain. Because what they come out with is the most socially acceptable things most of the time.
Right.
Or the things they're willing to admit. So circuit retaining mode is one thing, and that's from SIPS. That's Ian. Anyway, that's from SIPS. And then there's another one. So I use the jaw, the pterygoid muscles in the jaw, I use the glute medius in the hips, and I use a pons pollicus. So that way, if you've got something stored here, then basically you can't talk. If you've got it stored here, then you can't be doing something with your hands. If you've got it stored in your hips, you can't be walking. And I only realized this during my first masterclass yesterday, actually, because one of the guys was saying to me, well, why do we have to do that? Why can't you just, tap it into a certain area? And it was as I was going through the tutorial, because I'm thinking, well, I'll have to practice that. It was as I was going through the tutorial, I realized that so many things that I do require two hands. So I can't then be tapping it in at the same time I'm holding something with two hands. And same with structural stuff. If I'm working something and I've got my two hands working something when I'm doing a physical issue, you can't be tapping it in simultaneously.
So you use your feet?
Yeah, I use my feet, my jaw, and my hands, as well as circuit retaining mode. Anyway, that's a big session. And one of the ladies, Nicola, actually found
some incredible multitasking that's hard to harness as learning.
Oh, it's practice.
Learning a drum kit.
Yeah, it's very much practicing. But if anyone did want to jump into the signature system because you've been watching me for a long time and you're going, bugger it, this is it, I want to join in, then I will send you a couple of videos for free from the Kinesiology Foundations.
Awesome.
So that you've got, how to do those things.
Nice work.
Yeah. So thanks, David. I'm very excited about 2024.
Well, it's good to see it going out there in the world, because there's a lot of, all the studies show that since the COVID, anxiety and depression have gone up. And as Bessel van der Kolk says, the body keeps the score.
Absolutely. Beautiful. No more victimhood here.
Well, into the future, bright and shiny.
Exactly. Beautiful. Excellent. See all you neurodiverse people out there in a course near you. Take care.
Bye-bye, thank you.